Let's do it.
Tonight on The Big Idea, the music mogul of our times teaches you to live your American dream. It's Sean Combs, a.k.a. Diddy. This master of marketing is always 2 steps ahead of the game, and he's making hundreds of millions of dollars on a lot more than music. He's Diddy, the Broadway star. Diddy, the power broker. Diddy, the fashion designer. Even Diddy, the fragrance. And tonight, the man behind a billion-dollar brand is giving you the secrets for building an image, creating a buzz, and defining your own destiny. It's the Diddy formula for success. Tonight on The Big Idea.
Yeah.
Benjamin's baby.
Yeah.
Benjamin's baby.
From CNBC World Headquarters, this is a special edition of The Big Idea. Now, here's your host, Donnie Deutsch.
Welcome to The Big Idea. It's your daily roadmap to the American dream. I'm Donnie Deutsch. We all know by now the American dream is doing what you love and making millions. It's a dream that's inside of all of us. I'll put it another way. It's a desire to do more with our lives, to be bigger than we are. Well, what if tonight we could teach you to be bigger and define your own destiny? My guest tonight is a true master. At every stage of his life, he refused to let circumstance define him. He's a man who embraces risk, who has uncanny instincts, and who's become one of the great marketing geniuses of our time. And he's sharing those secrets right here. He's Sean Diddy Combs.
You may call him Sean. You may call him Diddy. But by any name, you have to call him one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our time. Sean Combs has turned his company, Bad Boy Entertainment, into an empire. But turn back the clock, and you'll see how Diddy's humble beginnings forced him to define his own destiny. These days, his Sean John clothing line has sales of $500 million a year. But when he was 7, Diddy couldn't even afford a new pair of sneakers. Now, Diddy is the guy discovering major new talents and releasing top albums. His work as a music producer and artist has earned him 3 Grammy Awards. But when he was just getting started, Diddy had to beg for his first unpaid job in the business. Quite a contrast from then to now.
Great to see you.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, we got a lot to cover. I think this is the longest package at the beginning of a show ever, because to go through all your stuff takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been truly blessed. I've been truly blessed with great opportunities, and I've taken advantage of them, and I'm proud to be here.
I'm proud to have you here, and we've known each other over the years. We've done some business together, and I've always respected you as a businessman. And you've got some great lessons tonight about overcoming adversity, about keeping going. We're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to go into all your businesses, but I want to go back first, because you, at 2 years old, kind of your life, which was a life of obstacles, kind of took on its major first obstacle.
Yes.
Tell me about your mom and your dad growing up.
When I was growing up, my father was killed when I was 3 years old. He was in the streets, and it was the wrong decision. We all hear the stories about the American Gangster movie. That kind of rings true to my life. It's a little bit more than just a movie for me. But when you grow up and you don't have a father there, it kind of creates what your destiny is going to be if your mother lets it be that way. My mother, she didn't let it be that way. She didn't accept that. She became my mother and my father, and I was raised by 2 strong, beautiful, incredible women, my grandmother and my mother, and they made sure that, that I didn't miss that father figure, from everything from dating to sex to my first, schoolyard scuffle of just don't let a bully push you around. Anything that I needed to learn, I learned from my mother, and I thank God for that.
Do you remember?
To the moms out there.
How many jobs did your mom work when you were growing up?
My mother must have had as many jobs as me.
But she was working 3 at one time.
She had like 3 jobs, yes. She had like 3 jobs.
I mean, do you remember, though, a moment, was there a moment early on when clearly, even though your mom and your grandmother did this spectacular job and she filled the holes, do you remember as a young man any moment where you were very conscious that you didn't have your dad?
Yeah, I think the moments I realized I didn't have my father was when I saw other children with their fathers, you know, and especially like Father's Day and days like that when you're supposed to bring your father to school. But as I said, I had a mother that she showed up on Father's Day. You know, my mother was kind of rebellious, so I missed him, but the void was really filled. You know, I have to honestly say that she did a great job with that, and I think that all parents that have to go through that shouldn't be the excuse. That, you know, parents have that responsibility, and mothers do that well. I think mothers in that situation do that well. I think us as fathers, we've had to catch up, and I think we're also doing a good job now also.
You were a businessman at a very early age. You wanted a paper route, but couldn't get one because why?
I wasn't of age. You had to be a certain age to work in, you know, New York State and to have a paper route, and I wasn't of age.
So how'd you get around that?
I was a hustler, you know.
I was going to say, you were a hustler from an early age. I was trying to do it.
I was a hustler, and, you know, the story really started. I asked my mother to get me some sneakers, and the look on her face when I asked her, because all the kids in school had the new Pro Keds, and I didn't, you know, she didn't have enough money, and to see that disappointment on her face, I didn't want to have to ask her for anything anymore. I wanted to take care of her. I remember that look on her face, and so I went out looking for a job, and people were telling me, you can't work yet, son. You have to wait till, you know, you're 12 years old, 13. And so I came devised a plan that I knew the guy that was having the paper route in my neighborhood, and, you know, I knew that they were allowed to give the paper route to whoever they wanted to. And I said, you know, if you give it to me, we can still have it on the books that you're delivering it, and I will send you 50% of the profits. And so, you know, a kid going to college, it wasn't nothing better to be able to get an envelope, you know, of what he was getting on his paper route. So it kind of worked out, and, you know, I didn't see it as a bad thing. You know, I wouldn't advise anybody else to do things like that, but that's what I had to do then.
We sometimes say on the show at the beginning, you could fake it till you make it a little bit. That's okay.
Yeah.
And basically you realize, you know, I'd rather have 50% than nothing.
Yes.
And it turned into you making $600 a week.
Yes.
13-year-old. That's a lot of coin.
Yes,
for a 13-year-old.
Yeah. By the age of 13, I had routes all over the Westchester area, and I had, I figured out that 50% could go down to 30, could go down to 20 to 10, and so I had different deals all over the place, and I was one of the most successful paper boys in the history of Westchester.
I love it. So you carried that entrepreneurial spirit. You went to Howard, but while at Howard, you somehow were drawn to the music business.
Yes.
Even when you're 17, 18 years old.
I love music. I've always loved music. My first record was my Christmas present. It was James Brown, Ants in Your Pants. And I had a record player, and I listened to that record until it was nothing left on the vinyl. And I was just a consumer. I just loved music, loved dancing in the mirror, and just having a good time, and going, when I grew up, going to clubs. And I never really saw it as that I could get into it as a businessman. And I one day got chosen to be in a music video because I was dancing in the clubs, and I kind of saw the guys behind the camera, and they had on the nice suits, and they had the big cell phones, and they were legal, because I was, and I was like, well, I'm about to go to college. I want to do whatever those guys are doing. And I really investigated it, and called around to see if I could get an internship, because I thought that, all of my friends in college, they were in law and, pre-med, and they had internships. And so I was calling the record companies, and they were like, what is that? What's an internship? And I was like, where I come and I work for free to learn. And they were like,
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Come on in, we'll give you one of those. And so I wanted to do my internship with Uptown MCA Records, Andre Harrell. And, I called him up. He had a new company. He was an entrepreneur, and he wasn't just selling black music. He was selling black lifestyle and the whole culture. And I was really so intrigued by that. And I said, I'll come in, I'll wash your car, I'll get you coffee, I'll run the tapes for you. I just want to learn from you. You're a genius. You're the best. And he was like, well, when can you start?
My car's outside.
Yeah, and so it was the best move I ever made to be able to do that. And it was more than just doing that. I went in there like I was going to be the greatest record executive of all time. And I knew that this was a start, and I took advantage of every opportunity. And I learned so much just from being a fly on the wall. And I was a fly on the wall in the room with Berry Gordy and Quincy Jones and Babyface. And so I was really just blown away, and it was...
How did you turn, because I think it's important for young people. Here you're an intern, you're in the game, you know, but yet you're 19 years old. Yet by 22, you end up head of artist development, pretty much running the place. How did you make that happen from just a guy in the room?
Yeah. I think it was being patient, and it was being the guy that people felt comfortable with being in the room. I never spoke. I always listened, and if I did speak, I picked and chose a private time to pull Andre to the side, and I really thought my ideas out. And so people got comfortable with me being in the room and learning, and I was very patient, and I waited for my time. And I didn't get into. I love music. I still love music, so I never did it to make money. So I could have waited 10 years to get my opportunity. So an opportunity came across that, the guy that I was interning for in A&R and artist development, he had received another job offer at Columbia Records. And so I took Andre out to lunch, and I asked him, I said, you're making music for young people. I am the demographic. I'm the person that you're making music for. Nobody, every time you want to know information about a record, y'all come play it for me. Just give me the chance, give me the opportunity, give me a trial period to do this. And the first couple of records that I worked on sold millions of records, and it went on from there. But it was the opportunity and the respect level that I had.
Three great lessons in there. Number one, you listened.
Yes.
I mean, young people today are so eager to speak. You listen. Number two, it's so important. You did it because you loved it. You found that's the big secret on this show, man.
Yes.
When you find what you.
Trust me, you're not going to be successful, and you have to be patient when you're trying to find and do something that you love. There may not be an opportunity there, but just don't lose hope, don't lose faith. And also, I think that I've been trying to also go on shows like this to try to teach young men and women that it's not a quick thing. A lot of people see me on television or they hear about these numbers, and trust me, I'm probably worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but I don't have that in the bank right now. I haven't done selling of my companies. One day I'll get to that point, but I'm still proud of what I've achieved. And it's not a thing. I try to tell all of the young people out there, it's not going to happen quick. It's not going. If you get into it and then overnight, you're working somewhere. I'm going to be in the music business and I'm going to be like Sean. It doesn't happen that quick. You have to be ready to sacrifice and put in the long hours and the work and really master this industry.
I'm so happy you said that, because a lot of people would think that you're one of the poster children of, hey, yeah, overnight.
Yes,
particularly today's youthful generation.
Yes.
The hip-hop generation, I don't mean black, I mean the hip-hop generation it's fast, it happens. I get that one thing. Everybody wants that celebrity. And you, who've had this glam life, I'm so happy to hear you be a spokesperson and say, no shortcuts. It's not easy. I don't care what the business is.
It's no shortcuts, and it takes time, and you have to be patient. And I'm not proud of being that part of the poster child for things. And and it's about coming on shows like this and giving people a real that it takes a long time. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of sacrifice. You can't hang out with your friends. You can't go to all of the parties. You have to really dig in deep, and you have to go for yours.
I got to take a quick break. When we come back, what happens when you've worked so hard to make something yourself, then boom, you get fired? Next up, Diddy's story takes an unexpected turn, and he's going to take us through the specific moves he made to help you get through your big crisis. You're going to hit one in your career.
Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken. You're so
Welcome back to The Big Idea. Tonight, my guest is Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most successful stars of our time, and the man behind what is a billion-dollar brand. He's a master of marketing, and tonight, Diddy's teaching you to define your own destiny. Right now, we're going to talk about something many of you can probably relate to: what to do when you're cranking along your career, when everything seems to be going great. Then you hit that brick wall. We're going to get some specific advice now from a man who's been through it. So you're 22, you're rocking and rolling, you're running uptown, basically. What happens?
I started really getting caught up in my success. Started getting a little too big for my britches. And, I was in a castle that already had a king. And I was really, I was running around with the crown on, butt naked. I'm I'm just going, you know, you got to understand, I'm like 22 years old. I'm a vice president. I'm the hottest, youngest thing in the music. There's nobody young, African-American in the music industry selling these numbers of records. You know, I'm hanging out of limos, naked. I'm really going crazy. You know,
keyword is naked.
Yeah. So I'm feeling myself, and I'm like, you know, I'm so passionate about the music. I'm not understanding the politics or the corporate world and the protocol. I'm just like, I want this for my artists. I believe in my artists. I believe in these records. You know, you guys in the corporate America, y'all don't understand what's going on, and you know, I get fired.
Why?
I get fired because I lost the level of respect that I should have had for the people that were above me. I did not understand how to really massage relationships. I only had my eyes set on one goal, and I don't think I was really a team player. It was about the artist. It was about me. It was about the company. But we had other partnerships. I wasn't, you know, I was very immature, and when I got fired, I'm talking about, this is probably one of the worst days of my life because I love what I did. Imagine what you're doing, and also you're disappointing the person that gave you the opportunity. That person fired you. You know, I was heartbroken.
Andre fired you?
Yeah, Andre fired me, and I'm 22, but I'm like crying. I'm crying for days and days and days because I knew I disappointed him, and I disappointed my mother, disappointed everybody around me, and I just promised myself from that point on that you know, I was going to do my best to make up for that. And
take me in that room when Andre fired you. What did he say to you? And that night, I want to know what it felt like, what you were doing, because your world did crash at that point.
Okay. You know, when I was taking in, you know, he came into my office, and, you know, the music is playing loud, and I'm dancing around. I'm not knowing I'm about to get fired. Not naked. Okay. So, and he just sat down with me, and he just said, you know, I've tried, and I know that this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. And he said, but you'll be all right in the long run. There's a lot of people out there that want you, but you know, you have disrupted, you know, the place to a point where I have to protect the environment and the culture that I'm trying to create. And, you know, I was in utter shock. I wasn't saying anything, but, you know, how the lump gets up in your throat and your heart starts beating and you're like, I hope I'm dreaming. And then, you know, I'm like, you know, come on, don't do this. I could change. You know, I'll make it better. And it was a lesson that I had to go through, though. You know, he didn't back down. It was a lesson that I had to go through. And it's something that I wouldn't be at this point if I didn't go through that. A lot of the different mishaps and tragedies and obstacles, it made me better. It's things that I had to go through because of my personality. We all have different personalities. Everybody wouldn't run around in the castle with a crown naked. Like I would have done that, you know, and so I needed something dramatic and drastic to change my path.
Yeah, I understand. My dad fired me early on. It was one of the best things that happened. Yeah, that's cold.
Yeah, that's kind of hardcore right there, man.
I deserved it. It was a great wake-up call, and everybody who comes on the show says the big learning experience is when you get whacked.
Yes.
So that night, you go home. What are you saying to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I go home, and I just had a child, and you know, I'm living in Scarsdale, right by the, because, you know, I'm trying to ball means I'm trying to live the fabulous life right away, you know. So I'm living in Scarsdale, across the street, and
very affluent suburb of New York.
Suburb of New York, but nobody knows I'm living check to check. You know, I'm still living check to check, and I didn't care because I threw caution to the wind. But I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? What does unemployment checks look like? You know, I didn't think I was going to be in this situation. The baby's crying, and I'm like, whoa. But you know, I did build up a huge reputation, and you know, people my phone started ringing off the hook, probably, you know, 3 days later. But I didn't care. I didn't care about Sony calling me or Arista calling me or Motown. I wanted to work with Uptown. That's who I loved. That's who taught me. And so, you know, that wasn't happening. Andre wasn't going to hire me back. And so I met a guy named Clive Davis, and everybody else spoke to me about money. Clive Davis just spoke to me about, like, don't worry about the money. I have that. Let's talk about the music. I want to know what you feel about music. And I just fell in love.
Well, let's show. I had Clive on the show fairly recently, and he talked about meeting you. Let's show that.
He brought me 4 cuts from Notorious B.I.G., and I listened. And he didn't come just with verbiage. And I said, wow, you got the goods. And I bought into his vision.
I mean, that's a legendary Clive
Yes,
Davis,
yes.
a brilliant guy. So you pretty much moved your business over with him.
Yes, yes. I moved my business over with him, but I moved it with a whole new understanding about the business and how you had to work with people and motivate people. And I can't say I perfected it because I still went through other obstacles. I wasn't totally cured. There was still, maybe just with the shirt off running around the office. But so I wasn't totally cured, but I was on a better track. And working with Clive Davis, it really taught me so much.
Clive was talking about Biggie, obviously legendary, ended in a tragedy. That was clearly the worst day of your life. When we come back, Winnie, how you dealt with that, how you came back from that, great lessons on that. More with Diddy when we come back.
Yeah. Yeah. About the Benjamins, baby.
Welcome back to Big Idea. My guest tonight is Sean Diddy Combs. He's the man who's going to teach you to grow your American dream bigger than ever before and define your own destiny. Okay, we left off before the break. We're about to talk about what to do when the worst day of your life hits. Unfortunately, we're all going to have a worst day. You're running bad boy at this point, going great.
Yes.
Discover a guy named Christopher Wallace.
Yes.
A.K.A. Biggie. Sold $4 million the first time. Things are going great. And then one night changes your life.
Yes. All I can say to people is that, in life, as a lot of people know, you don't know what's going to happen the next second. There's obstacles that hit, tragedy hit. It goes back to my faith, being brought up, in the church, being brought up by my mother. And at that point, even still, I still wanted to give up. I still just felt like I just couldn't do it. Like, what does everything mean? And you have to, like, when tragedy hits you, when obstacles hit you, you have to fight through them. You have to. There's so many other people that are counting on you. So many people that in my instance I was responsible for, and it was something that really hurt me. You know what I'm saying? I'm still hurt by it, and I had to fight, really. And the way I did it was I tapped into what I loved, and I made a record called Missing You. And I just did what I love to do, and I tried to just stay positive as I could stay, and pray, and wait for a better day. And if you're still, there's a thing my grandmother taught me, be still and wait on the Lord. If you be still, He's gonna come and bring you up out of it. And that's what I could say to people, that something's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. There's going to be some sort of obstacle. Hopefully it's not as tragic as that one, but something's going to happen, and you have to keep your faith. You have to believe, and you have to stay focused and work hard.
Take me to that night, because you lose your best friend. I can't fathom what that's like. Take me there.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that something that sounds like it's out of a movie. We're just leaving an event, and it's thrown by our hero Quincy Jones and Vibe magazine, and you just hear shots ring out, and just growing up in the inner city, you're used to hearing shots, but you're not accustomed at them coming towards you in this fashion. And my best friend, he was killed, and it's no way to really describe it. It's something I wouldn't wish on anybody to see, and it's definitely was a hard time that the family went through. We all went through, and matter of fact, we're doing a movie right now with Fox Searchlight that his mother's doing, and there's a message in the movie, the message to young people about this young man who wanted to be somebody, and his life was cut short. And it's a tale from a mother's perspective, and it's a story that has to be told. And I think we've all gone through losses, whether it was in this fashion or whether somebody was taken through an illness, it feels the same way. You know, it feels the same way. When you love somebody dearly, you never want to see them go. But this is not our world, it's God's world. And you have to pull yourself together, pull your family together, and you have to move forward.
You went into a terrible depression after that. I mean, I know some people close to you were worried you were going to take your own life. You said that obviously your religion and your faith was one of the things. What are the other things that you can share that the tools you use to pick yourself back up, where, you know, at that point you can kind of say, you know, screw the record business, this is a dirty business. Well, what are the kind of your secrets to pulling it back up?
You have to take things day by day. There is no solution for pain or depression or bad times. It's really taking it day by day, and it's really trying to fight against the negative feeling and the sad feeling and the feeling that makes you want to give up. Fighting with, you know, with your faith and your understanding that there is going to be a better day, and believing and just, you know, forging forward. You know, I don't have really that solution. It's a day by day, taking a step by step, and you know, it does get better.
Is part of your way, whether you do it consciously or subconsciously, is interesting. You talked about when you lost Biggie, you made the song, and now you're making a movie. Is as an artist to throw yourself commercially. I don't mean that in the negative sense of the word, and that you say, okay, this tragedy happened. I'm going to use my art. I'm going to use what I do for a living, which will be therapeutic for me. And also maybe kind of give some learning out of that to others.
I don't know if I put that much strategic thought into it. Like, I'm always creating, so you know, I'm a creator, I'm an artist. With the movie, that's something that was his mother's idea. So you know, that's something I'm supporting her on. Musically, it was I just wanted to speak to him. You know, I wanted to just, you know, and I know that's how we spoke, so that was just something sentimental that I did. But, you know, as an artist, I think that's what we do. We throw all of our pain or anger or love into our records or into our acting or into our movies. So it's definitely something that's therapeutic, but I don't think it's done in a strategic commercial level. But I think when you're at the level that I'm at, you know, it's reported on, you know, commercially. So if I do something, it is out there in a commercial way.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back...
Are we going to talk about some good things when we come back?
Now's all the good stuff.
Jesus. This guy is like horrible Wall Street.
What's the secret behind this man's uncanny business instincts? Why is it that every time he makes a move, it seems to pay off with more and more millions, and how you can hone your instincts the Diddy way, or what he would call the good stuff, when we come back?
Great life.
With the booze. Once again, if I'm sitting in a club...
Can you please call it fine ultra premium spirits?
This is ultra premium spirits.
And we have a clarification. You and the rest of the world could just call me Diddy now. Just Diddy. Simply Diddy, yes.
Welcome back to The Good Idea. We're learning the secrets to defining your own destiny from a true master, Sean Combs. These days he goes by Diddy. He's been P. Diddy, Puffy, Puff Daddy. By any name, this guy is a master at marketing himself and his brand. And right now, we're going to really drill down for his marketing secrets so you can learn to make moves the Diddy way. Okay, what's with the name changes? Let's understand that first.
I mean, one of the things is being a successful brand or a celebrity brand is that you can't take yourself too seriously. You know, you have to be able to have fun. I had the opportunity to have fun, and it was just something entertaining. It was going into a new era in my life, and I just wanted to leave the old baggage with the old baggage, and so I dropped the P, and now I'm Diddy. But people still call me P. Diddy. It's not that serious. It's just having
people
fun.
Call you Puffy also.
Yeah, people call me, you know, different
just call
names.
Me, right?
Yeah. So it wasn't really that serious, and it was something fun for the press, you know.
You got a big announcement here. I mean,
yes.
the Diddy machine rolls on.
Yes.
You're going in the booze business.
Yes, and the spirits, fine spirits, the ultra premium sector.
See, I say booze, he says fine spirits.
Yes. I've teamed up with the #1 spirits importer and fine wine importer, Diageo, for a unique historical strategic partnership for this. My new baby is Ciroc vodka. For years, it's the best tasting vodka out there, and I'm telling you guys that, so make sure,
always be selling.
Make sure you get it. But But one of the things that I take pride in is I don't do these harebrained business schemes. I don't bite at every apple. I've been approached to do everything from being NASCAR to own my own professional team to even be partners in different spirits before. But this has always been my dream. Everybody has always thought, he just throws parties, he just throws parties. I've been building myself as the king of celebration. I love to see people have a good time. And I've really been trying to attack this luxury sector. And this right here, I found something that I believe in and that I love. And you're going to see a lot and hear a lot. And you're going to taste a lot of this in a very responsible way. So that's Ciroc vodka.
Like I said, above all else, the marketing. You use great two words together, celebrity brand.
Yes.
And the two people that right now in our current culture embody that, I think, are Oprah and you. Mm-hmm. Oprah in the example of Oprah recommends a book, people do it. Mm-hmm. And is your business model as simple as, I don't mean this in a negative sense, where you realized, hey, if I'm wearing something and they take a picture of it, I could be wearing a Ralph Lauren something. Well, what am I selling his stuff for? And that's pretty much the game with the fragrance, with the booze. Once again, if I'm sitting in a club...
Can you please call it fine ultra premium spirits? This is ultra premium spirits. Booze. No, this is not booze. Come on, baby. I watch your show. Would we tell people to call it booze? No. Come on, Donnie. When it comes to vodkas, I drink vodka. And you want something that has a luxury feel to it. When it's sitting on your table, you want the rest of the crowd to know when they're walking by your table that you have the best, you know. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to really tap into this consumer in a way that really rings luxury and also speaks their language, speaks their lifestyle. I don't know if the other vodkas, whether it's Kettle One or Grey Goose, speaks their lifestyle of when you're in New York or when you're in LA, Miami, Chicago, when you're running around and you're going club hopping. And you know, in the lifestyle, I would say I want us to create an ad campaign, a marketing campaign that goes directly to that consumer. So it speaks luxury and ultra premium.
Okay, when we come back, I'm going to give you, I think, the solution to this.
Yes.
It's very, actually, you hit a very interesting nerve. Free, right here.
Oh, well,
right
come on
here
back.
in front of you. You're going to see an ad campaign being launched, and we're also going to field some questions from the audience. You guys have some real business issues. We're going to Diddyize them when we come back. Ad campaign, we'll see right before your eyes.
Next.
I love a woman with a little bit of meat.
Stuff. No, who needs
yeah. I don't like bones and ribs neither.
Okay. That's like the beginning of the Diddy and Donnie show. Welcome back to The Big Idea. Tonight we're learning to live the American dream bigger than we ever dared and define our own destiny from a true master, Sean Diddy Combs. And right now we want to take what Diddy's been teaching us about a lot of stuff and see if we can do a little workshop with folks in the audience. We're going to
hold on. There's one thing I want to make sure I say.
Damn.
That also for the brief, that what makes it different is that it's made by French grapes.
Okay.
And not potatoes. That's what makes it different, okay? And that the name of it is Ciroc. The young lady asked me off, what's the name of it? It's Ciroc. It's the vodka with the pretty purple bluish stone.
Okay. Now, it's interesting. The last thing you said to me is what we call the bar defense.
Okay.
At the end of the day, nobody is going to care about that, but you need your triple distilled, and just everybody has their thing.
Yes.
It's interesting you mentioned, because initially you could bring this out, and I'd say, well, you got all these super premium vodkas.
Yes.
You got Chopin, you got Belvedere, we know them all. What's missing and ironic, because vodka is a clear liquid, everybody approaches it very, very pure. Oh, it's the best vodka, and nobody's attaching any lifestyle to it, yet it is the more lifestyle-oriented audience. It's all the young people. So somehow there's no glam vodka out there.
Yes.
There's no vodka. Ironically, it's the most glamorous drink.
Yes.
But they put glamour into the after-dinner drink advertising. But with all the vodkas, they're very kind of, our product is best because of this. So you have that bar defense with the grapes. But I would love to see a glamorous vodka. There's no sexy vodka. And it's the sexiest spirit.
That's it. There it is.
Sexy vodka.
Sexy vodka.
Okay, we got some folks in the audience that need some help. We're going to maybe Diddy out. You got Deutsch and you got Diddy here. Two guys who know a little bit about marketing. We're going to try and give you some marketing tips. What do you got, man?
This is a Tool Captain, and it's a soft-sided tool storage product for your RV, your boat, your home, your garage organization. Basically, my question is, how do I bring this product to market, essentially, in like a Lowe's, Home Depot, your Ace Hardware, that kind of a marketplace?
You know, there's trade shows for everything. You know, so you go to a tool trade show, an outdoor trade show, I don't know the exact type of trade show for this, but they have, and you buy a little booth for $800 or $1,200 or something like that. You bring your stuff down, you put it on, you start selling them one at a time. That's it, man. You got to start in a very narrow, you know, where the fish are. You got to fish where the fish are.
Right.
So once again, if you got a tool trade show, buy a little booth, go there. You're gonna make some sales. Go that way.
Thanks very much.
All right, man. You give me the tough ones.
Yeah.
Krista Barnes. Where's Krista? Hey, Krista.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Diddy and Donnie.
Hello.
Wait, there's something to that. Diddy and Donnie. I like that.
That's a new show. That's a new show. The Diddy and
I
Donnie
created the Boo Band for women who cannot zip up their tall-length boots because of the size of their calves. It's easy to install on the boot. You just zip it up, and you just zip up the zipper as far as it can go, and then you put my boot band on, which is also at bootband.com. How can I bring this to...
Which is available with Syrah vodka.
Yeah.
Always be promoting on the big idea. We love it.
How can I present this to the underserved women who have the larger calves, who don't think they can wear those big boots or those trendy boots?
I'll ask you another way, Diddy, is that is there a way to glamorize less than perfect looking men and women, because that's what we see, and I think that's kind of even a bigger question.
Yes, I think that the plus size sector of the business is one of the fastest growing sectors as far as the attention that it's getting from major designers. I mean, people are in different shapes and sizes, and I think that, as he said, there are shows out there. There are shows that you could go to, the different trade shows, that you can set up your booth and you can really highlight this, because I think that's the sector that you have to go for. Young ladies that have bigger calves, and they deserve to look beautiful and have sexy boots too.
Sure.
So I think it's a great idea.
Great, thank you.
It'll be interesting, you or any other big-time artist in a music video, to the next time they got some babes dancing in there, maybe they are not a size 2, but
I think
it'll be interesting.
There was a young man named Anthony Hamilton that did that. You know, he just did that, and I think that, you know, we all know that there are, you know, the big sexy that's out there.
I love bigger women myself.
You know, I mean, I love a woman with a little bit of meat.
Stuff. No, who needs the skinny stuff?
I don't like bones and ribs neither.
Okay. That's like the beginning of the Diddy and Donnie show. Okay, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll open this thing up for more. Anybody can ask Diddy anything, his love life, anything, because he's here to share. More when we come back. I had an assistant work for me at one point that had worked for Diddy.
Yes.
So it's definitely...
He stole my assistant, by the way. This Diddy Donnie thing has been going on for a long time.
Welcome back to The Big Idea. My guest tonight is Sean Diddy Combs, teaching us to define our own destiny. And right now, let's open things up. You guys have questions about kind of getting to your destiny. Let's start it right off with Sean Millett.
Hi,
I'm Sean.
I'm Sean from Scarsdale. I own a small technology company. Yeah, Sean. Nice to meet you. It's
Sean,
section
previously of Scarsdale.
Yeah, section9tech.com. But my question was, when you reach success at such a young age, is it really hard to deal with?
I think one of the downfalls, not really downfalls, one of the negative things about reaching success at such a young age is that there's so many things that you're going to come across that you're going to not have the wisdom to deal with. You're still young, and there has been like a disconnect with some of the older generation and the younger generation. I think that, you know, one of the things that was helpful to me was that as I started going through those various pitfalls, the older generation, they came and they kind of put me under their wing and kind of, you know, gave me some advice. But there's things that when you're young and you're successful that you just don't know how to deal with it. And you see that a lot now, even with the celebrities that are young and they have a lot of success and money, and they're going through things like, and when you're sitting back at home looking, well, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And to be honest, you just don't know. And you're still young. If you think about the crazy things you did when you were 19, 20 years old, if you were under a magnifying glass, I mean, you would understand too. It's kind of crazy at that age.
So what advice, along those lines, is interesting. If you bring up a point that the young people today, and because we're so over-mediated, if you will, you take a Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Let's say you were she came on the Bad Boy or whatnot, and you were managing her. What would you tell her right now?
Well, I'm still trying to manage myself.
We usually end the show with Speaking Deutsch. We're going to end it with Speaking Diddy. Diddy's final 1 minute. He's going to give you a motivational pep talk. He's been saving the secrets for the end when we come back.